Welcome, learners, to another deep dive. Today, we're not just recounting a story. We're stepping into a chilling moment in time, a true crime narrative that really shattered the calm of Alexandria back in 2005. This is a story of a brutal double murder, a frantic attempt to cover tracks, and the meticulous, almost surgical unraveling of a killer's twisted logic. Get ready to truly immerse yourselves in the details, because this one, well, it will grip you.
And it truly should. This particular case, it stands out not only for its inherent violence, but for the intricate web of deceit surrounding it,
Right.
and how the smallest, seemingly insignificant details ultimately brought the truth to light. Our mission today is to explore how every piece of evidence, every interaction, played a critical role in solving what initially appeared to be, well, an impossible crime.
Okay, let's set the scene. Let's really unpack this. Imagine a quiet afternoon. It's the upscale Loran district of Alexandria, 2005. Sunlight probably streaming through apartment windows, the city's usual hum muffled into a peaceful drone.
Pretty typical day, you'd think.
Exactly. Suddenly, a piercing scream just rips through that calm, echoing from an apartment in a residential building. Neighbors, concerned for their friends, Madame Sawsan and her daughter May, rush to the door, knocking frantically.
Understandably.
But what they hear inside sends shivers down their spines. Crashing sounds, more muffled screams, then a terrifying absolute silence.
Oh, wow. The kind of silence that screams louder than any noise.
The neighbors, their fear growing with each passing second, call for the building doorman. Together, their hearts pounding, they force open the apartment door.
And what they discover is horrifying.
Just horrifying. Madame Sawsan and her daughter May, lying motionless, bathed in blood, victims of an incredibly violent attack. The scene is absolute chaos, a violation of the quiet domesticity that had just moments before defined the space.
Furniture overturned, a struggle evident. It was clear a fierce battle had taken place. The crime scene itself told a grim and visceral story. Both victims had suffered numerous stab wounds, an unnerving number, really,
Multiple wounds.
indicating an assailant driven by extreme rage, seemingly determined, absolutely determined, to ensure their demise. The apartment was indeed in disarray, suggesting a frantic search for something, or perhaps a desperate attempt to cover tracks.
Right, but nothing obviously taken initially.
Well, curiously, no one else was found inside. The killer had seemingly vanished, leaving behind only the devastation.
And it was at this early stage of the investigation that a truly compelling piece of evidence was unearthed. Police and forensic experts arrived quickly, their eyes scanning for anything out of place.
Standard procedure, but crucial here.
They noted an open living room window facing directly onto a quiet garden, a clear and very hasty escape route, especially since the apartment was on the ground floor.
Yeah, for an investigator, that immediately points to a rushed exit. Someone needed to get out fast.
And that deduction proved critical. Down in that very garden, directly beneath the open window, a crucial piece of evidence lay discarded. A bag.
Just left there.
Inside, a blood-stained plastic bag containing a knife, a clothesline, an ice cap, which is essentially, a knit cap or balaclava for disguise and gloves.
A whole kit, almost.
But what's fascinating here, and a vital clue for you listening, is the distinct branding on the plastic bag, the name of a distant poultry shop in Alexandria.
A poultry shop. That's specific.
Very specific. This detail immediately suggested a killer in a state of high tension, someone who made a critical mistake in their haste.
Definitely. And this theory was strongly supported by the neighbors who heard the commotion inside the apartment, confirming the killer's very hurried exit.
So given these initial findings, what critical conclusions did investigators draw? The fact that the apartment's gold and jewelry were left untouched in the bedroom, that suggested something very specific about the crime, didn't it? This wasn't a typical robbery.
Not at all, no. The untouched valuables, combined with the extreme violence and the rushed departure, led investigators to two immediate hypotheses. Firstly, it could have been a robbery gone terribly wrong, where the assailant was interrupted. Panic.
Right. Grabbed nothing substantial.
Or, far more chillingly, the gold and cash were never the primary target. The primary clues became that single, isolated set of fingerprints found within the apartment and that distinctive bag with its contents and the unique poultry shop name. For investigators, these were the foundational threads they had to pull to unravel the mystery.
So let's talk about the victims. Who were they?
As the forensic team meticulously processed the scene, investigators began to gather background information on the victims themselves. Madame Sawsan, at 55, was a respected socialite from a prominent, well-known family.
Okay.
Her daughter, May, 25, despite her youth, was a highly successful businesswoman, owning a popular cafe in Lorraine, and was also deeply involved in local charitable work.
So well regarded in the community.
Very much so. Both were known for their considerable wealth, often having gold and cash at home, particularly from May's cafe earnings. They were influential women, making their brutal murder all the more shocking and perplexing.
This raises a profound question.
Yeah.
Who would target such well-regarded women, and why with such extreme violence? It seemed so personal.
Exactly. Investigators began by interviewing everyone connected to them: family, friends, household staff, and critically, employees from May's Cafe, both past and present.
Casting a wide net.
A very wide net, collecting fingerprints from all these individuals to compare with the single elusive print found at the scene. For you, the learner, this is a crucial step in any investigation. Establishing a baseline of known prints to eliminate potential suspects and isolate the unknown.
It's painstaking work, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Often tedious, but every print was a potential link, a piece of the puzzle.
Did anything come from that initial sweep?
Well, the investigative net started to tighten when a critical lead emerged from the building's doorman, a man with an unblemished reputation.
Okay, the doorman. What did he see?
He initially stated no strangers had entered the building. However, after further prompting, a peculiar detail resurfaced in his memory. In the 2 days prior to the murders, a young man he didn't recognize had appeared twice at the building.
Twice? Doing what?
Each time, he'd used the intercom asking for Madame Sawsan or Mai, but then abruptly left the moment he saw the doorman.
That's odd. Why leave if they were home?
Precisely. This was highly unusual, especially since the doorman was certain Sawsan and Mai were home. Why would someone leave when they knew their target was accessible? This behavior immediately aroused deep suspicion. He was casing the place, perhaps, or testing the security.
So the police had collected a massive number of fingerprints from everyone connected, including, as you said, a large pool of Mai's former cafe employees.
Yes, a significant number.
But one young man immediately stood out, not just from his print initially, but from his physical appearance. What was it about him that screamed suspicious?
His appearance was undeniably striking, drawing immediate attention. The 2 fingers crucial for fingerprint identification were visibly damaged, cut, like really cut, as if by a knife or razor.
Cut. On purpose.
It looked intentional, and to further obscure them, they were covered with multiple layers of adhesive tape and glue.
Wow. That's blatant.
Extremely. When questioned about this highly unusual injury, he claimed his new job required such damage, which sounded flimsy, frankly.
I'll bet. Who was he?
Investigators quickly learned his identity. Mustafa Salem, a 20-year-old education student who had indeed worked at Mai's Cafe previously but had left some time ago. For any seasoned investigator, this level of intentional obfuscation is an immediate, glaring red flag.
So, Mustafa Salem. Damaged fingers. Strange story. How did they even get a usable print?
This is where forensic science truly shined. The initial fingerprint lifted from the scene, a latent print, showed promising points of identification.
But the damage.
Exactly. Due to the tape and glue Mustafa had applied, some of the critical ridge characteristics, the unique patterns, loops, arches, whorls, were obscured. This created what forensic specialists call points of disagreement or ambiguity in the initial comparison.
So, not a slam dunk at first.
No, it wasn't a clean, pristine print, and a less rigorous team might have dismissed it. But the police, sensing something more, insisted he remove the tape and glue. Upon a second clean printing, the match was undeniable, nearly perfect. The meticulous analysis of the pattern type, ridge count, and minutia that were clear now flawlessly aligned with the new print.
Incredible. Science wins out.
It was a testament to how even intentional obfuscation can be overcome by detailed analysis. This led to Mustafa Salem's immediate arrest.
And the doorman.
The doorman then confirmed that Mustafa was indeed the suspicious young man he had seen lurking around the building days before the murders. The pieces were now interlocking with chilling precision.
Despite this compelling forensic evidence, the print match, the doorman's ID, Mustafa vehemently denied everything, right? He claimed he had an ironclad alibi.
He did. He insisted he was on a trip outside Alexandria with his fiancée and friends on the very day of the crime. He seemed calm, collected, certain of his innocence.
A truly chilling composure if he was guilty.
Police, of course, investigated this alibi thoroughly. They confirmed his relationship with the young woman he intended to marry. However, during their interview with her, well, that's when a critical crack in his story appeared.
What did she say?
A seismic shift in the narrative, really. She confirmed the trip to Rashid, but she revealed a crucial detail. Mustafa hadn't joined them early in the morning as he claimed. He had arrived later in the day.
Later. How much later?
A significant window of time during which his alibi simply vanished. For investigators, this wasn't just a minor discrepancy, it was an open door. It meant he could have been in Alexandria when the murders happened.
And it gets even more dramatic, I understand. This unwitting fiancé, the very person he claimed as his alibi, became pivotal.
Absolutely pivotal. She was shown the plastic bag found at the crime scene. Inside were the ice cap and gloves.
Oh, no.
Her reaction was immediate and devastating. She recognized them instantly. They were her Valentine's Day gift to Mustafa.
His Valentine's gift. Used in the murder.
Yes. The realization of what he had done, the horrifying truth of her beloved's actions, just overwhelmed her. The gift, a symbol of their affection, now became irrefutable evidence of a horrific crime.
I can't even imagine. What else did she reveal?
She then recounted that on the very day of the crime, Mustafa had given her 3,500 Egyptian pounds, claiming it was his savings for their marriage.
3,500 pounds. Okay, in 2005, that was a decent amount, but...
But for a double murder, especially considering the victim's known wealth and the untouched gold, it was a shockingly low amount.
Yeah, that doesn't track with a simple robbery motive, does it?
Not at all. And for her, it was a deeply personal, chilling revelation. He gives her money for their future on the same day he allegedly commits these murders.
This detail fundamentally shifted the direction of the investigation. If he was just stealing, why such a low sum? Why the brutal, rage-filled violence when all that gold and jewelry were left untouched?
Precisely. It forced a reevaluation. Was it a robbery interrupted where Mustafa panicked, killed them, and fled, only grabbing what little cash he could in his haste? Or was something far more sinister at play, something deeply personal that fueled such rage and disregard for the valuables? The money being a secondary, almost opportunistic grab.
The low sum contrasted with the extreme violence.
Yeah.
It points towards the latter, doesn't it?
It certainly suggested that. This wasn't primarily about the money for Mustafa, it seemed. Not entirely.
After further relentless interrogation, the pressure mounting, he finally broke, didn't he? He confessed.
He did, and what he revealed wasn't a spontaneous act of violence, not a sudden snap.
No.
It was a deeply rooted, meticulously planned act driven by a desire for revenge. The true, dark motive finally emerged from the shadows.
Revenge over what?
The story goes back to his time working at Mai's Cafe. A dispute arose over a relatively small sum, a 200 EGP deficit.
Okay, 200 pounds. Not insignificant.
But Mai chose to publicly humiliate and insult him in front of his colleagues, including a relative he had personally helped employ there.
Ah, the public aspect, in front of family.
Exactly. Mustafa quit, but the memory of that public shaming festered, poisoning his mind. What's truly unsettling here, for you to consider, isn't just the monetary dispute, but how a perceived public shaming, especially in front of someone he wanted to impress, ignited such a disproportionate and destructive rage.
It speaks to something deeper than just anger over money.
Oh, absolutely. It suggests a profound sense of narcissistic injury, perhaps, a feeling that his self-worth was utterly shattered by Mai. The act wasn't about the original slight anymore. It was about restoring a perceived loss of honor or control, however twisted the logic.
So for Mustafa, the financial motive became secondary, almost a rationalization for this deeper psychological need for retribution. The money was just a quick grab on his way out.
Exactly. He harbored an intense desire to see Mai dead. Simultaneously, he was struggling financially, desperate to propose to his girlfriend, but lacked the means.
A perfect storm of motive.
This desperate financial situation, combined with his simmering, deeply personal resentment, pushed him to consider robbery as a means. But Mai became his primary target, not just for money, but overwhelmingly for retribution, for the humiliation he felt. He saw an opportunity to satisfy both needs in one horrific act.
And the Valentine's Day gifts, symbols of his future plans, played a chilling, almost theatrical role in his premeditated act. It's deeply disturbing.
Indeed. He saw the ice cap as a disguise and the gloves as a way to avoid leaving fingerprints. He meticulously planned the crime, leveraging his insider knowledge of Sawsan and Mai's routines when they slept, where they kept cash.
He knew their habits from working there.
Precisely. He even took a knife from his mother's kitchen and cut a clothesline from his own balcony, bringing them all in the same distinct plastic bag with the poultry shop's name. Every detail, from the means of entry to the tools of the crime, was chillingly considered.
Tell us about the moments leading up to the crime itself. The day he chose to execute his twisted plan. How did it unfold? He'd been there twice before.
Right. On the third day of his attempts to approach the apartment unnoticed, Mustafa knew he had to act. His alibi for the trip to Rashid was set in his mind. He patiently waited, hidden from the doorman's view,
Waiting for his chance.
until he saw a resident ask the doorman for help with luggage, drawing him away from the entrance. In that brief, critical window, Mustafa seized his opportunity. He sprinted to the intercom, lied about being a delivery man,
Just lied his way in.
and slipped into the building the moment Sawsan opened the door remotely. He was committed, his focus razor-sharp.
What happened inside? What unfolded behind that closed door as the neighbors listened in growing terror?
He pulled out the knife he had taken from his mother's kitchen, concealed in his clothes. As Sawsan opened the apartment door, seeing him in the glint of the weapon, a piercing scream escaped her.
The first scream the neighbors heard.
Likely. He immediately attacked her, forcing his way in and locking the door behind him. May, woken by her mother's desperate screams, rushed out. She saw the horrific scene, her mother under attack,
Oh!
and pleaded with Mustafa to spare her mother and take her instead.
She tried to sacrifice herself.
But his rage consumed him, a blind fury. He attacked Mai with the same ferocity, determined to silence them both. The crashing sounds the neighbors heard were the violence of the struggle, the brutal culmination of his festering resentment.
And the neighbors, trapped outside, heard everything, didn't they? Their frantic knocking must have been a terrifying soundtrack to the horror within.
Absolutely, a desperate attempt to intervene that Mustafa completely ignored.
He just blocked it out.
Yes, their frantic knocking and shouts were loud and clear, echoing through the building. But Mustafa, deafened by his single-minded intent, continued his brutal attack, making sure both women were dead.
And then the money.
Then he quickly grabbed the 3,500 EGP from the bedroom, confirming his hurried secondary motive, and left from the open window.
Out into the garden.
Out into the garden. And in his haste, in that adrenaline-fueled escape, he dropped the bag containing the knife, clothesline, ice cap, and gloves, the very items meant to mask his identity and actions.
It's a crucial mistake.
The crucial mistake. He then rushed to catch his ride to Rashid, meeting his fiancée as if nothing had happened, exhibiting a chilling calmness, a stark absence of remorse.
The profound irony. His efforts to tamper with his fingerprints, to meticulously plan his escape, only for a dropped bag and an unwitting fiancée to unravel his entire scheme. It's almost a cruel twist of fate for him.
It truly highlights his desperate, ultimately futile attempt to escape justice. His efforts to cut and obscure his fingerprints failed. The meticulous work of forensic science, combined with the unraveling of his alibi by his fiancée's unwitting testimony, it led to his complete undoing.
His perceived cleverness was no match for the truth.
No, not against the relentless pursuit of justice that stitched together every loose thread.
So what does this all mean for us? Mustafa Salem was sentenced to execution for his horrific crimes. It's a stark reminder that even the most elaborate plans, fueled by a deep-seated, twisted desire for vengeance, can be undone by simple, overlooked details.
And the relentless, often painstaking pursuit of justice. For you, the learner, this case underscores the power of forensic evidence and the critical importance of witness testimony, even seemingly peripheral ones.
Like the doorman, the fiancé.
Exactly. This case truly underscores how deeply personal resentments, left unchecked and allowed to fester, can lead to unspeakable tragedy. Mustafa had two clear opportunities to turn back.
Those 2 times he saw the doorman and left.
Yes. But his cold determination to inflict harm, born from perceived humiliation, blinded him to the path of reason and consequence. It illustrates a dangerous psychological trajectory, a perceived injustice, a festering grievance, and then an escalation where violence becomes the perceived solution.
A chilling thought for you to consider. How often do seemingly minor slights, perceived humiliations or unresolved feelings, escalate into profound and destructive acts? And what role do our own internal narratives, how we interpret and hold on to grievances, play in the paths we ultimately choose?
Think about it. True ambition and integrity are built on character, not on betrayal and malice. The very items meant for a new life, the gifts from his fiancée, became instruments of its destruction.
Until next time, keep digging deeper.